Just wanted to introduce ourselves. I am Brooke Lucas. I am an account executive servicing Empowered and actually all of Indiana.
Perfect. And then my name is Nora Flagey. I am your guys' customer success manager. I'm here to be that helping hand throughout the whole process, and just be there for all your engagement and question needs throughout the year. So. All right, so before I kind of jump in, we just wanted to remind you guys again, kind of like Will said, Hudl did acquire ball time back in February. We're going to be walking through kind of what that means for you guys going into the season this year. It's going to be a lot more easier if you guys experienced Hudl. Everything's going to be a lot more smooth. One thing I did want to note too before we jump in, we were kind of chatting with Kobe before this. When you guys do sign up into Hudl, we just want to make sure that every athlete has their own email and that they're not signing in under like a parent's email. This is going to be because that's how stats are going to link to them. We don't want siblings sharing the same email, things like that. So we just wanted to open with that because we know that's a very common question.
Perfect. So just kind of an overview, Capture Suite. Sounds like a lot of you might be filmers for your teams or kind of heading that up. We definitely suggest that you have an Apple device. Hudl works best with Apple devices. If you do have another tablet, no worries. You can still film on that camera roll and then upload after the fact. But whether you're on an iPhone or an iPad and setting that device up, behind the court at one of these big tournaments, great. You'll just download the Hudl app. It's an orange icon. You can't miss it in the App Store. Download it, and then you'll log in to that account. Either you'll have your coach log in with their login, or maybe use your athlete's login so that you can film and upload directly through the app. If you have spotty service, sometimes I know we're in these huge convention centers where like, I can't get on this Wi-Fi. No worries. The app will still record for you and then upload once you get onto Wi-Fi. If you don't trust that, you can, again, absolutely record through the camera roll and then upload it to Hudl after the fact, maybe when you get back to your hotel or house. Uploading shouldn't be too slow, especially if you're on like a high-speed internet or your LTE or hotspot. Should be pretty seamless, and then it will go directly to your team's video library. We'll dive into the platform, but just want to give you guys kind of a high-level overview before we get into the nitty-gritty. With the integration of Ball Time, obviously the stats are all being done AI, so it's about 1 to 2 hour breakdown, just like you experienced last year. And you'll find that once we jump in, it looks very, very similar to what you experienced. So we got a lot of feedback from our clubs, our coaches that used Hudl every year, and then we got a lot of feedback from coaches like Will and clubs like Empowered about what you liked about Ball Time and wanted to marry the two together in a way that felt really cohesive and didn't disrupt workflows that you guys already know. So obviously the performance suite is all encompassing with the stats, the analytics that bring out really awesome teaching moments for athletes. Finally, Nora will cover this with you guys kind of high level, but recruitment suite, as Will said, we've really put a lot of investment into our new recruitment suite. We know that it's a little silly to be exporting video all over the place, especially when it's already on one singular platform. So let's just use that. It's already in one place. Let the athletes make the highlight reels that they need to, and then push it out to recruiters. And we'll walk you through how to do all that pretty quickly too. So without further ado, let's dive in. We'll kind of pause after each one of our little sections here. If you have any questions, raise your hand. Don't be shy. There are no dumb questions. We're happy to answer them all. So once you upload that film to Hudl, it's going to drop into your team's library. So it looks like this. This is, oops.
Did I turn it too far?
It's okay. Technical difficulties. We'll get the HDMI up and running again. There we go. Okay, so once the film is uploaded to your team's Hudl account, it's always going to live in the library. So we are under this tab right here. Again, this can all be accessed within the app as well. And every single video that you upload is just going to live here. This is what Hudl has looked like in the past, but like I said, once we kind of jump into film, that's where you'll see the ball time kind of jump into play. So 1 to 2 hour breakdown. Once a game has been broken down, you'll see this little kind of graph here that says has data. That means we've broken it down for you guys. It's ready to go in and be analyzed. So once we jump into the video portion, most of our coaches actually live in this actions tab. This is literally just a rally of literally every single time a point was scored. So most of the time we want to be living in actions. This is where we can filter for certain moments that athletes either want to pull out as a learning or a teaching tool, or pull out and put onto a highlight reel. So I personally was a setter, so I always like to favor our setters and kind of show what the platform can do with them. So we're going to filter for Remy. We know that she's our setter, and I can apply the filter. Then it's going to pull up every single time Remy set the ball. If I want to get really granular with this, I can look up every single time she had an assist, every single time there was an error after the fact of her set. So can really get as granular as you want with things. Once we start to play the video, you'll notice couple things here. So we have more of a visual side with this volleyball court. Every single time there's an attack on the ball, there will be an arrow. That arrow is going to be, color coded. Depending on that color, that's going to coincide with the result of the attack. So white is going to mean that ball was just in play. A blue is going to indicate a kill, and then a red is going to indicate an error. So this shows where she attacked from, set the ball to, and then where they attacked from. Also highlights for me right here this set speed. This is absolutely huge. I know, especially as you get older, you might even have coaches out there like timing sets. This takes away a lot of that for those coaches. The AI is just doing it for them. So if I'm a coach and I'm like, hey, I really need to make sure my setter is being super consistent on our slide sets, I can filter for a specific slide set or just slide sets, and we can look at all of her set speeds to make sure she's in the range that we want her to be consistency and speed-wise. Yep, we will get into that. Great question. That is actually the next thing. So we can also toggle on trajectory. So you can do this for serve, reception, passes, sets, and digs. Again, we're just going to stick with setters. So here's that color legend. Once you select that trajectory, and this is cohesive across the whole platform as we get into more of the analytics, there's that color legend for you. And then once I click off of this, if we click the video, boom, there's her trajectory on the set, and it's also going to highlight that airtime. That trajectory line is also the same color as what the result of the attack was. Couple things over here, especially for coaches. I know a lot of people can be picky about pass ratings. It's very subjective. So let's say we didn't like a pass rating, and as a coach, I'm like, I think that should be a 1, not a 2. That was a little generous. I can click this pencil icon and basically just edit the stat right there, and then click save. Over here, we also have a comment bubble. So if I am coaching Remy, actually this is our colleagues team, our setter, I can say, at Remy, look at your hand positioning here, post it, and that then sends Remy a notification saying, hey, Coach Brooke sent you this comment, go look at X clip, and it will take her directly to that so she can look at it. So a lot of teaching moments both on and off the court. Final thing here, if I'm an athlete and I came in here and filtered for myself, which you can do, obviously, we can click these lines and send it directly to a highlight reel. So you can create a brand new highlight reel, or you can add it to a pre-existing highlight reel as well. And we'll get more into the fun little things you can do with highlights. I will pause there. Any other questions about filtering, uploading? Yep.
From the video side, I know like with ball time, there tend to be, I'll say, some settings that work better.
Okay.
It's still the same way since you guys acquired it, or have you changed it?
So his question was, video side, are there certain settings that work better kind of with the filming and like video quality? So we're gonna stick to actually Hudls. So Hudl can accommodate up to like 4K. We don't always, we were actually talking about this earlier, we don't necessarily recommend that just because the files are a lot bigger. It takes a lot longer to upload. We work really well with 1080p, which is also what worked really well with ball time. So stick with that, I would say, but if you do have a really nice camera that you want to try out, we can still accommodate that as well. Any other questions? Hitting them all? Awesome. All right. Let's jump into stats. So previously with Hudl, you would have to go into reports to look at all of our stats. Now we can actually just access, again, just like ball time, all the stats directly from the video portion. So right away, we're just gonna get a very basic box score. But the really cool thing with all of these is anything that's underlined, if we click on them, it brings me directly to the moment in the actual match where that stat happened. Kids, as you all know, are super visual learners nowadays. A number on a page is great, but if they can see that actually being acted out and what exactly they did to perform that statistic, the more the dots connect for them. So we want to try and connect that in all facets. So just a quick box score, then, oh, question? Yep, in the back, go ahead.
Yeah, one quick question. So on our phone, can you only access that on tablet or iPad, but on my phone I can't? I'm a head varsity coach and I have
Okay, so something we forgot to highlight this at the beginning. This is only for club. Ball time on Hudl is only for club this year. It will be available for high school next year. Yep, she asked why she couldn't access any of this. Yes, good question. We're rolling it out to our club folks first. We just love you guys so much that we thought, let's give them the taste and make sure that they're well taken care of. But high school is coming, we promise. We have meetings on it every week. Yep. Then we have rotational stats here at the top, pretty basic. Rotation charts, I love this one. So this is going to show you either first ball side out or in transition or both, how your attackers are performing in each rotation. So this purple line actually indicates the route that attacker ran. So if she ran a slide, looks like here in rotation run, she ran a slide, she started over here, came around our setter, and then she attacked this way. Blue means kill. So this was a kill. I can, again, click on this arrow and it's going to show me that attack directly in the actual video portion. Scroll down here, gives us some more information on each of those rotations, and then, like I said, can move to transition or FBSO and transition. All right, tendencies. So personally, as a coach, I call this a spray chart. Can get a little crowded here when you're actually looking at a couple players. So let's just select a couple of our athletes and apply. Now I can see these 4 or 5 athletes, all their attacks during the match. I can also toggle on a heat map. So this would indicate where we are attacking from and to on the other side of the court the most successfully. So the more red you see, the more kills we got in that area or that zone. I can also toggle on zones, and we can do that same thing where we're showing the purple lines of the routes that the players are running. Let's take these off. And if I click on these, something I like about this is the video portion is actually set up directly next to it. If you click on a stat, instead of bringing you to a whole nother page. Again, a lot of kind of the same information, but just finding different ways that resonate with different coaches, athletes to really hit home with the stats, as well as connecting them with the video. Final thing up here is going to be our AI Insights beta. So like it says, this is a beta. But I always like to say we have a lot of coaches that have a lot of other jobs. They wear a lot of different hats, right? They might be a teacher, they're also a coach, they're also a parent of 3. So they don't always have time to go into the match footage and look at all of these analytics. The AI Insights just pulls out high level overall in the match. What rotations did we perform in? Where can we improve? And then it breaks it down by set as well. So really just nice, like quick call out, especially if you're at like a 3-day, weekend tournament where they have to make a really quick decision as well. Questions on that? We're rolling through, love it. Okay, this isn't anything super groundbreaking, but if I do come up to reports, I can click add videos. And now, instead of looking at matches, stats of a singular match, I can look at multiple matches. So we can look over a weekend, and these are the exact same stats that we just went through for the singular match. So can look at how we're performing over a weekend. Awesome.
All right, next we are actually going to touch on highlights kind of briefly. Just a couple housekeeping items going into it. Obviously, as you can see, this is taken directly from ball time. So this was another thing that we kept consistent when acquiring ball time over here at Hudl. We're not going to change that. We're not going to keep what Hudl had. And that's actually kind of a plus, because if you guys ever did make highlights through Hudl, it was kind of difficult. There's no more paying to download everything. You're still going to be able to export vertically, horizontally, all for free, all to those social media platforms like you guys experienced last season. So once you click into the highlights portion, kind of like Brooke touched on earlier, this is another way of creating a highlight as opposed to just sending it directly from the film in the library. You can come here and you can hit create highlight in this upper right hand corner. And the super nice thing is we have a couple of templates that are already created for you. If you knew that you wanted to kind of highlight top 10 digs from a certain game, if you clicked on that, selected the game, it would automatically pull in those top 10 games for the certain athlete that you were wanting to highlight. Just for the purpose of this, I'll just start from scratch here and show you how you do that. So first thing you'll do is you'll just create a title for your highlight, and then you're gonna go on the left-hand side here and hit add videos. You can add as many or as little videos as you want. If you just wanted to touch on like games from a weekend, let me see here. Just grab these and then hit select. From here, it's going to pull in all of the touches from all of those games. Obviously, we can go ahead, we can filter down to a specific athlete. Again, we can get as broad or as granular as you guys want to, hit apply filter, and then we can go through and it'll play those specific clips. We can add a ton. It'll start adding there on that right-hand side. If we decide we don't want it, we can take it away. If we want to change what we're looking at, we can do that as well. So many different things. A couple other fun little add-ons to this is going to be, let's see, the highlight setting. You could do a circle below the player. You could even import a logo of the club and put that underneath the player as well. You could choose to have the scoreboard over it, the trajectory, speed overlay. You could kind of make it look very like wild and fun when you're exporting them to social media. Let's see here. You can also add visuals. So if you're kind of creating like a season end highlight, for example, you could add in, just a bunch of these slides here. And say if I wasn't only highlighting Remy setting, it would actually put those exactly where those touches were at. So like attacking would then be the first thing that showed up automatically under all of the attacks, et cetera, et cetera. Another super cool thing with visuals is you can do an athlete intro slide. You can go in here, you can upload an image of yourself and then put all of your information as little or as much as you want. And then you can always add this in front of your highlights, especially when you're sending this off to any recruiters. This is a really nice touch, personal touch there. Anything I was missing? No? Okay, and then once you hit export here, it's gonna save to your library. You can choose if you wanna keep the sound, get rid of it. It'll save to your library from there. Oh, we have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Can you still highlight the player?
Yes, yep. So then when you go, you'll go back into highlight, say you're ready to kind of export it. Let's see here, it might actually be publishing. It's still publishing, but when you're ready to export it, it's going to give you an option whether you want to do it horizontally or vertically, and then you can choose whether you want it to follow the player, the ball, or both. So you still have all those same options that you guys are used to last season, which is a huge plus going into this year. Go ahead. Great question. So the question was how, like, if they already have existing highlights within ball time, how does that transfer over? So as long as they're using that same email to log in that they did in the past, they will transfer over. If you have any athletes that are coming maybe from Hudl technically last season, as long as they're using that same email, all highlights are going to come through with this transition.
What if we had, somehow I ended up with like 3 different Hudl emails.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get from one to another? I have one under one email. Can I get it over to the other one? I forgot what you were saying.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. So she's kind of asking if, like, over the course of, 5 years, we've kind of been jumping through couple different emails tied to the athlete, like, what can we do? You just reach out to our support team and say, hey, here are the 3 emails. I need it all under, like, nora.fliggy@hudl.com. They will go ahead and merge everything. So all of your stats, all of your highlights, yeah, everything will then live under that one email. So, yep. All right, no more questions? All right, last and probably the biggest piece of today is going to be recruiting. So kind of like Will and Brooke were talking about in the beginning, we want to consolidate the place that you guys are having to go instead of, downloading your video off Hudl and then exporting it into Sports Recruits. We just want to make this one seamless process for you guys. So the main area that you're going to be living in is going to be this college search button. So this may kind of look a little bit what Sports Recruits was like. You're able to go ahead and filter to a ton of information that you want here on the side. Just for the sake of where we are from, I'm going to go ahead and use Nebraska. I'm going to say that I want to be 50 miles away from home, and then, Virginia, sorry.
It's filling in my Google there.
Let's see. There we go. Okay, perfect. I could even select if I wanted it to be like a medium-sized college. I could go as in-depth as the programs. Obviously, we're going to specify whether women's or men's sports. And then we can choose then the sport that we're specifically looking for, which is going to be volleyball. And then the division as well. We'll go ahead and click on the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So once you come into here, you're going to be kind of flooded with a lot of information just about the college itself, which I think is super beneficial and nice. Obviously that's what you're going to school for, outside of the sport. So I think it's good to know this information as well. It does, in-state tuition, out-of-state, gender, acceptance rate, even shows you on a map where it's at, and then everything that it accepts here on the side. Most important area we want to touch on is going to be this right-hand side. We're going to look underneath volleyball, and this is where we're actually going to be able to directly message the coach. We're still working on getting the full coaching staff from Nebraska and a couple other different coaches, but so you'll have, an option to message Jaden as opposed to Danny. But then you just go ahead and you click on message. For this one, I don't know. Okay, well, normally when you click on this, it's going to open up a box where you're able to type a message. So it's going to say like, yeah, right now it's under a coach. So if you were an athlete logging in here, you're going to go ahead and be able to message them directly, kind of pop in a little message, be like, hey Danny, my name's Nora, really interested in your school. Like, check out my highlights from Triple Crown this past weekend. Would really love to get to know you in the school a little bit more and see if I'm the right fit. This sends directly to Danny's email or the college's email that you're looking at, and then all of that communication, if the coach decides to respond, is going to be taken off of Hudl and be directly in email. So you don't have to, be constantly checking the Hudl app. Everything's going to be done directly through an email thread. The coaching and admin side of things, they will have access to at least see if athletes are actively reaching out. But if, after that initial action of reaching out, they won't be able to see any communication done after that. So they at least know that, your kids are being proactive, reaching out to these schools, kind of taking that on themselves. Okay, yeah. Yeah, great question. So what she asked was if they were able to like be able to filter to a specific position. Right now we don't have that option just because everything is changing, all the time that we found. So right now it's just going to be the colleges.
How often is the college information updated?
Yep, great question. It's going to be 2 times a year. Sorry, I should have repeated the question. She asked how often this kind of database is being updated, and it's going to be 2 times a year. Like coaching staff, all of that. Yep. Okay. All right, well, that.
I'm gonna hit on
Oh, go ahead.
recruitable athlete.
Okay.
Couple other things with recruiting. One thing to note, we can't find position-specific information, but we can indicate if there are scholarships available. That's what that green S by all those sports means. There are scholarships available for that sport. We just don't know what position they're needing. So it sort of helps out, but we can't tell you, exactly what they're looking for. One other thing I want to hit on is, again, like Nora said, I know we all want to play sports in college and it's so much fun, but you are going there for school, right? You have to decide on a major. So we also have the academic side on here. Does show every single major that the college offers. If you are looking for a really niche major, you can also filter to make sure a college has that major. So if we come back to the college search library, under programs, this is where I can select potentially what I want to study as well. All right, one other thing. So because you're all here, I can assume that you definitely have a child or an athlete that wants to be recruited or you want to be recruited yourself. What we always suggest is, if you're just thinking about going to college and wanting to play a sport in college, is to opt yourself in to be a recruitable athlete. How you do that is when you're an athlete, you're going to come under sharing. Again, I'm logged in as an administrator, so I don't have athlete privileges, but you will nominate yourself to be a recruitable athlete. Once you do that, it's going to send your club coach a notification saying, hey, Nora opted in to be a recruitable athlete, verify her information is correct. So we want to make sure we know your graduation year, your position, what club you play for, and like your jersey number. Once all that looks good, she'll select verify, and that actually puts you or that athlete into our recruiting portal. I'm going to show you what that looks like from a college coach's side of things. So all college coaches have access to this, whether you're a junior college, NAI, D2, 3, 1. They have access to this. They also have access to purchasing higher subscriptions to this to get more in-depth information. So let's say I'm a college coach. I'm looking for a setter in Indiana, graduation year of 2028, and I really want her to be tall. I want her to be 5'10" and up. So here's 3 girls that match my filter. Maybe we expand this out. I don't know, Arizona, sure. Click. I can then click on this athlete, and it takes me directly to their recruiting profile. So whenever, just a side note, whenever an athlete creates a highlight reel, it is published to their public recruiting profile. So if I'm an athlete and I'm like, hey, Coach Danny Busboom, like check out my recruiting profile, it will bring her directly to this, where she's able to see all my highlight reels. If she's logged in under our Hudl Recruit, she gets a couple extra perks. So these 2, if you notice, are, she can then see full game footage on the athlete. When college coaches are recruiting, yes, it's great to see all these kills and these amazing sets and everything, but they're also looking at attitude. They're looking at, are they a coachable athlete? Are they a good player? Okay, so now I can look at full game footage of Nora and be like, okay, she's really coachable. She, made a giant error, but the next play she's like, hey, setter, give me the ball. I know I'm going to put this one away. Really good quality that I want in an athlete coming into my program. Another thing that they're able to see is contact information. So a little bit more in-depth contact information. Who are mom and dad? What high school does this athlete play for? What club do they play for? Just so they can kind of watch out for them a little bit more. As a college coach, if I save a prospect It puts it on to my basically recruiting board for me. If I decide to follow a prospect, it will notify the athlete that that person is following them. So I know on other platforms, like if I were to just view your profile, it might send you a notification. I could have viewed it on accident, and now you got your hopes up potentially for a college that you might not, be the best fit for. I, as a college coach, have to be very intentional about saving, which doesn't notify, or following, which will notify the athlete. Questions on any of that? Awesome. Really quickly, also want to know if you're in high school and your high school uses Hudl, please, please, please be sure to use the same email address for your high school team as your club team. Really, really imperative, because again, we can go in and potentially merge them with our support team, but it just makes it a lot easier for all your highlight reels to populate from one place for both high school and club highlight reels, along with game footage and everything as well. Okay. Final couple things, couple resources. So that is our Hudl support line. So if you need to merge those couple accounts, call in, let them know those email addresses, they can merge it for you. And then hudl.com/support. Amazing, amazing resource. I like to say it's like Google for Hudl. You can go in here and literally pretty much search for anything. How do I add myself to a team? How does a coach add me to a team? Make sure you're coming in to ball time, and then I can search directly from there. Highlight reel creation, college search, all that kind of stuff. So really awesome resources. Final call for questions. Otherwise, that's all we got.
That's the support number?
Yep.
Is that like a Monday through Friday? You guys are Central Time?
Correct. Yep, Monday through Friday, Central Time. It's our general support line, so it might ask you to click 1 for Hudl support, because we have a couple different products out on the market.
If we have a problem on the weekend, the best thing to do is just like save it to the camera reel, like call you guys on Monday and then figure it out.
Yep, you can also chat with our support team as well directly through the accounts too.